Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking to talk to me funny, lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Joining me on the show right now is a comedic icon, and now he's showing off his musical chops, continuing to show off his musical chops with his latest single, You Show Me. You know him from so many places, but he's joining us right now on the line, Mr. Tommy Davidson. Tommy, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing really good. I'm very proud. I'm having a very proud moment.
Well, explain to me, the proud moment, is it around the music?
It's around this song. You know, I decided to go into the music industry, and it was hard to decide which genre because I can do everything, you know. And I thought the best one to go in right now was smooth jazz because not only can I do it well, but it has a lot of listeners that aren't dependent on the whole pop world, you know. And I just feel good starting there. There's a lot of quality musicians and artists and writers there that I grew up listening to. So that was it's a great springboard for me. And it's the kind of music that I live to. You know, you cook to, you drive to, you think to, that kind of stuff, you know?
Well, I agree with you completely. And you know, I was listening to some of your catalog that's available for streaming right now, songs like I Know, which I had a really fun time jamming. I had to turn the music up a little bit because it put me in the mood. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of music that is timeless. You know, a lot of things follow trends, and music is a very trendy, you know, a medium in general. But what I feel like you're coming from your music is the old saying of greatness never goes on sale. Those classics are always classic. That vibe is always there. Is that intentional in your mind? Is to make something that feels not just of this time, but of any time?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do. You know, you took the words right out of my mouth, or I couldn't form those words. You know, trendless music. You know, with a shelf life. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's exactly where I'm coming from. I'm such a mix of all types of music because of how I grew up. You know, I grew up in the AM era. You know, so that meant that blacks and whites listened to the same music. You know, we all had the same thing. You know, we came in Monday morning as kids, and did you hear that on the radio? And it didn't matter. You know, it didn't matter. And it just was that fusion. You know, and then living up to this point, all through the 80s and the 90s, you know, and just all the music that's built up in me, it just exploded. It's just time, you know.
So let me ask you this: Who were those artists for you, where you found going back to the same, you know, 3 or 4 people that you were like, man, these are the kinds of artists that I want to channel when jumping into the music game?
Yeah, that's an easy one. Carole King, Earth, Wind and Fire, James Taylor, The Police, Kansas, Fleetwood Mac, Cameo, Confunction. And those names just go on. Lou Rawls, Altero.
Well, I can see why it was hard for you to find one genre to kind of go after, because everyone you're naming right there it's got a little bit of something. You know, they all kind of have their own little claim to fame, their own sound, their own uniqueness, their own genre. And so what I think that you're doing right now, man, I really love. And talk to me why this single, you know, You Show Me, was the one that you felt was right for right now for you.
Well, because, you know, the first 4 tunes that I did, I was learning how to do it. You know, not learning how to do music, but learning the business of it, you know, and learning the business of producing, and also having an arranging touch. And so on this one, I really, really was able to just pull back and go, I want this specifically. I want that specifically. You know, and I studied the sound and said, I'm going to learn how to get exactly what I want. And that song, You Show Me, is exactly what I want. I was able to get a beautiful guitar player out of Spain to do flamenco licks. I had 2 guitar players here that I adore. One is an R&B guy, one is a rock guy. You know, the keyboard players out of South Carolina. I got a stew here going. You get it?
Yeah, I hear you. I feel that. And you know what?
Yeah,
What's really awesome? Oh, go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry.
And then Najee, who's a brilliant flautist and saxophonist, just happened to hear my song in the background while he was working with one of my vocal mixers, and said, "What is that?" And he said, "Hey, that's Tommy Davidson. You know, he's doing music." He said, "Man, I want to be on that song." Can you believe that?
Yeah, man. And to me, you know, to me, what's also sticks out about some of the music, and this is a question I wanted to ask, is the production of it and the arrangement of the songs are very interesting. You know, with vocals kind of coming, you know, panning in certain moments, or you change your tone. You know, maybe you're doing a falsetto, and then there's a lower register that comes in. Is this something that is kind of in your mind? I remember like listening to I don't know, old Thriller demos where you heard Mike on there, and he would literally hum out every part of the melody, and this is how I want the chorus to sound and the rhythm here. Are you similar, or how are you arranging these songs?
Yeah, I'm similar in that way, in that, you know, I'm a latecomer as a musician. So, you know, and I'm basically a vocalist. So, you know, I have the utmost respect for musicians because of the discipline of learning how to play their instruments and learning how to write music. I'm not a music writer, and I'm not an instrument player, but my voice is definitely an instrument since I was 4 years old. And I was singing as a protege. Grown men coming to my mom and saying, "Can we go to a nightclub with us and sing for our band?" You know, from that to just learning how things, just memory, stellar memory, and most of all, my love for good sound. So if I could relay that sound to a musician and they can get it out of their instrument, the song's getting written, you know. And also, I can compare the sounds to all the songs that I know.
Right, you have some reference points.
On steroids.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
You know, and it really feels good too.
I'm sure it's nice to be able to make the songs that are in your head, because that's always one of the things about a musician. I was talking to John Oates a few weeks ago, and he was talking about songwriting, and he's like, man, you got to take it how you can get it. You know, sometimes it's a title, sometimes it's a melody, sometimes it's a groove, but you got to figure out, to use your words, how to put that stew together to get, you know, out of the song what you want. And it's not surprising to me that you're kind of taking a dive into this medium. I saw you in Houston a few years ago. I believe you were touring with Mike Epps, if memory serves me correct, and y'all were playing at the NRG Arena, and there was a lot of music. You have a lot of musicality even to your stand-up. You know, there were moments where you'd sing during the stand-up. And by the way, you also had this brilliant bit, which I hope you don't mind. I quote all the time about the differences. You had this thing about the differences between how white people and black people approach dogs that are stray in a neighborhood, which I thought was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. And so true. So true. My wife looked at me and she goes, "That's you. That's you." And I'm like, "I know." But musicality has kind of always been a part of your stand-up routine, right?
Yeah, it has. It has. I'm a frustrated singer, man. You know, and it just took years it took years to really figure out how I was going to do that and how I wanted to do that. Eddie Murphy came out with a singing comedian, you know, and then Jamie came out with his music. And at first I was really frustrated and I was like, how am I ever going to do this? Because they did it first. And then all of a sudden dawned on me, well, they broke the door open.
Right.
To show that it's possible. So now all I have to do is come out with my brand of music. And that's what I was able to do.
I only have a couple more seconds with you, so let the people know, where can they find the music, where can they get in touch with you, and do we have an album coming on the way?
Yeah, we have an album coming on the way, coming on more near football season. You know, I say around September, somewhere in there. You know, and we're my music is available everywhere, on Apple, on Spotify, radio stations all over the world. Actually, we're doing really good, man. You know, and also I just wanted to mention, I wanted my world to be heard. I wanted my music to be heard around the world. So the fusion between the flamenco and the different influences that are in You Show Me was exactly the point. And sure enough, the radio stations around the world are picking up on that song. It's finally good to be right in a world that's so damn wrong, man.
I hear you, man. You know what? Congratulations. It was an honor to speak to you. I could talk to you for hours about all kinds of stuff, and maybe we'll have to do it again next time you're in Houston. But Tommy Davidson, stream the new single. We really appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much. My ID is the Tommy Cat. I mean, I'm the real Tommy Cat is my ID. Follow me. I'm everywhere.